A grim but familiar ritual at the start of a year meant to herald more hopeful times.
Since the pandemic began last year, the whole United Kingdom has been...
Day 4 of 2021 and a return to a national lockdown in England after the UK was moved into the highest COVID alert level. That means the NHS is at risk of being overwhelmed unless action is taken after a 30% increase in COVID patients in hospitals in England in the last week.
With most of the country already under extreme measures, it's clear that we need to do more together to bring this new variant under control while our vaccines are rolled out. In England, we must therefore go into a national lockdown which is tough enough to contain this variant. That means the government is once again instructing you to stay at home.
The changes in England to become law early on Wednesday morning will last until the middle of next month. During an emergency recall of the Commons on Wednesday, MPs will vote retrospectively on the changes to close all schools and colleges to all pupils apart from children of key workers and vulnerable children. Most university students will also not be able to return to university. Nurseries will remain open. Introduce a reinforced stay-at-home message along the lines of the rules from last March, with limited exemptions, such as going out to exercise and doing essential shopping. Everyone must work at home unless impossible to do so, and banning outside sport, though elite sport will continue. Announcing a near reprise of the stringent measures of last spring goes against every fibre in Boris Johnson's libertarian being. As recently as yesterday, he had hoped to keep schools open a little longer. But a journey he knew he would soon have to embark on was hastened as the Prime Minister was presented today with overwhelming evidence of the spread of the new coronavirus strain across the country. And there will be tough new restrictions in other parts of the UK.
We have decided to introduce from midnight tonight for the duration of January a legal requirement to stay at home except for essential purposes. This is similar to the lockdown of March last year.
A former health secretary who had called for a national lockdown earlier in the day welcomed the Prime Minister's announcement.
This new strain has been pretty unpredictable, and in fairness to make this announcement on the very day that everyone has sent their children back to school shows someone who is prepared to take extremely difficult decisions in the middle of a pandemic, and he won't have done so lightly at all. So I would rather not sort of jump on the bandwagon and say it's too late and he's changed his mind, because actually I want a Prime Minister who looks at the evidence dispassionately and takes tough, difficult, even embarrassing decisions if it's the right thing to do to get a pandemic under control.
Labour accused the Prime Minister of acting too slowly.
We were warned right at the start of this from the World Health Organization, act quickly, act with speed. Johnson, he sort of divers, he delays, and he's always the last to grasp the seriousness of the situation we're in. We saw it yesterday. He was on the BBC saying schools are safe. Tonight he's saying schools are a major vector in transmission of the virus. I mean, he's just ricocheting around like he hasn't got a grip. But, leaving that aside, he's done the right thing in imposing a national lockdown.
It's not only the distance.
A former government chief scientific advisor had earlier forecast the need for action.
They're more transmissible, the tighter the restrictions that are needed. And someone said that we need to all act as though we were infected, and we just have to keep apart as far as we possibly can.
A quiet start to the year with little hustle on our high streets. Soon they will be even quieter, leaving room for others to roam.